Warning. The following podcast contains explicit descriptions of animated animal violence, vehicular catapulting, testicular bludgeoning, zombie fornication, lawnmower dismemberment, self-cannibalism, toddler soccer, and slow-motion custard ingurgitation. And those are just the more palatable parts. If you find any of the above unsettling, please contact your nearest hobbit. Cue the music.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
And now for our lesson.
So, I don't have a lot of notes for this movie.
Oh, really?
No.
I have more notes than usual.
Okay.
I have 2 pages of notes, and usually I have, like, the title of the movie written down.
Yeah, and then just a doodle of, like, a guy with his, like, the keep on trucking guy kind.
I watched this with my wife last night.
Mm-hmm.
And
After dinner or before dinner?
Yeah, it was at the end of the night. It was about 11 o'clock we started it.
Okay.
And, well, we just got this new, these smart light bulbs, you know, because of her migraines and shit. I thought maybe if we can dim the lights or turn them a different color.
Mm-hmm.
So we go in there and it's purple. She's got it set at purple.
Okay, good.
Or kind of a midnight blue.
Oh, all right. Where is this going?
Yeah. I figured I could put another one in my bedroom and it would be the longest lasting light bulb ever because it would never be turned on.
Right, exactly. Forget that you had it.
So she had the mood lighting down and I'm trying to write notes. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to read my handwriting whatsoever because I couldn't see the marking on the page.
Yeah. I tend to not write very legibly when I'm not looking at what I'm writing.
Yeah, everything's at a horrible slant. Yeah. That was not a racial slur.
Oh man, I really was just going to let that one go on by, but racial slant. We're awful people. Just for even not for saying it, but for just cut all this out, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Are we awful if we cut it out? No.
I guess. I don't know.
That's what I don't want to put any kind of limitations on this podcast.
Yeah.
You can say anything, and then if you want me to cut it out specifically, just say the safety word.
Make sure you keep them all the things that you've cut for for your run up to mayor, and then all that stuff will get aired publicly.
What do you want your safety word to be?
Can it be safety word?
The safety word is safety.
Is safety word and safety dance part of the same thing, or is that 2 completely different things?
Sure.
That had little people in it.
Yeah, again, you don't want me to say midget. We were just talking about forming our own HR, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Or our own safety videos.
We can't be trusted to police ourselves. We need an outside source to do it. I mean, we don't have the budget for it, but I'm not getting sued. One of us is going to jail, and it's not going to be me.
What? The class action suit against saying little people? Okay. Or midgets? Or dwarves?
I don't know.
There is obviously one little person in this movie who plays the baby.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it is.
And also, I have stuff to say about that, too, when we get to that part, because Peter Jackson is doing a lot of, it's fun to see, like, the tricks that he used in his hugely successful Lord of the Rings series that he is using in this, like forced perspective type stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at that baby real close because it kind of looked like... In a couple of the scenes, like at the park, it sort of looks like a full-size person is in it, and he's just using like forced perspective to make it seem smaller.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you saw that? Do you agree?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to find out who played I don't see anything.
I know.
On who played the baby.
Well, I was trying to figure out, the special effects are amazing in this. I mean, it's the most insane special effects ever. But I didn't really get a lot of information about those guys. Did you? Like if they work for Weta now, or, if this was his...
What is Weta? I came across that.
That's just the team that the special effects and practical effects. And for Lord of the Rings, man, I watched some of the extras on that because there's like 20 hours of extras. Oh, God. Mm-hmm. I was trying to exaggerate, and there probably is more than that.
Easy.
But he was calling everything Weta, like, the costumes, how they like forged their own swords and stuff. Like those were real swords that were just, kind of blunted. And so that's what it was. It's the Weta workshop, but they also do CGI, and they also do, they do like everything.
I saw that written once and just kind of glossed over it.
Well, watch the endless DVD extras for Lord of the Rings, and they'll probably tell you where all of that stuff come from. I do know that Weta, the name Weta, I think it's WETA, is a New Zealand cricket.
Oh,
not the game, the like an actual bug. Don't know why. I don't remember the story. Why?
I just thought it was an acronym, and I was trying to come up with.
I think it might be that too. But it was named after a bug. There's a lot of crotch violence in this movie.
Oh, there's hand and crotch violence. I've got a lot to say about that.
Okay, good.
I enjoy the comedy.
Oh, for sure. I'm at a low giggle through the entire thing once you meet the priest and the graveyard scene. I think the graveyard scene is really where the ultra violence starts really picking up.
I would say that.
It was hard to even eat a snack while this was going on, let alone a hot dinner, I mean, I couldn't even eat a candy bar. I just didn't want to put anything near my mouth. Let's we haven't even said who we are. We need to get it together. Do we just assume that they know at this point who we are?
Yeah, guys, it's us.
Moratorium,
we're watching
blah, blah,
a movie.
Yada, yada, yada.
You get the point. Well, this week we are watching the violent. Oh my God.
Did you say violin?
Violins.
That'd be a good band name. Ultra Violins.
That was Gilda Radner on Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
She's talking about violins on television.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, it's violence on television. She goes,
right.
Oh, never mind.
Yep.
But this is so violent,
Ugh.
so gross.
Ugh.
So this is probably the grossest of gross movies, purposefully gross.
Yeah.
And hysterical.
Yes.
Dead Alive.
Yep. AKA Braindead.
Was it Braindead over in New Zealand? Is that what it was?
No, it's actually Braindead here because there was a lawsuit because of Braindead, the one that we were talking about with Bill Pullman and
right.
Bill Paxton. I guess that there was a copyright issue. So I guess that was kind of in limbo forever. And I read a thing where Peter Jackson had, because you can't find... I always pick the movies that are the absolute hardest to find.
Yes.
And without thinking about that part of it, but there have been several different cuts of this movie. And I guess the version that we saw with the lips being pulled out, that
yeah.
box. I don't know. The original version that we watched must have been edited,
You think?
Oh yeah, because watching this, especially the last 30 minutes of this, where they're finally at the house after the or during the party, there is a lot of stuff that I was like, oh, I for sure have never seen that before. I would have remembered that.
Well, granted, I don't think I've watched this since we lived together,
right.
Nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And where did we even get that copy? I don't remember where we would have
Probably the video store. We had several copies at the video store.
Okay. I was kind of surprised to see that this was made in 92 or released in 92.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of thought it was a little older than that.
I didn't realize it was in the 90s, but that makes kind of sense, though.
There's not a lot of information about this. I read the Wikipedia, the entire thing, and there's just, not a lot.
No.
Bad Taste, the movie that came before this, his second movie, I guess, is also very gross. It has a lot of liquids in it that you're going to have to deal with, and sound effects that are gross.
Mm-hmm.
The sound effects in this movie are disgusting. It sounds, some of the scenes sound like a kid blowing bubbles through cream corn is basically what you're getting. A lot of bubbly, gross.
It is a third grader's
Yes.
sound effects library.
Yes, fart noises, dog barks, throwing up.
This has every bodily function.
Oh my God. Being a Foley artist, doing the Foley stuff for this would have been awesome. It's just basically throwing a bowl of stew against a barn or something. It's what a lot of this sounds like.
Well, all nasty squishiness aside, welcome to the moratorium.
Oh my God, we've been going for 15 minutes already.
Yes, we have.
Welcome, everybody. Let's really let's really roll our sleeves up and
wipe that chair off before you sit down.
Ugh.
It is gonna get slimy in here.
It's like a Gallagher performance.
Yes. When he had hair.
When he had hair before his hair betrayed him.
I'm your host. Oh no, I'm not a host anymore.
What are you?
I'm Tim Kornman. And with me as always is Jason Walker.
If you're not the host, does that make me the host?
No, we're both hosts. I'm just quit announcing that I'm your host, Tim Kornman.
Why?
Because.
We're both co-hosts. You want me to be equal?
Right.
You don't want to put yourself on a pedestal?
Even though you demand to be introduced, I don't want you to think that I'm putting me first.
Right. Well, you did buy that huge pedestal, and I wondered why it was in your garage. I thought it was for something unrelated.
I'm sitting on it right now.
Well, now I know.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be hearing from my lawyers right after we do this episode.
You're suing me for all the debt that belongs to this company.
Yep.
Yes.
But let's do this first, and then we'll get into all of the legal wrangling. Speaking of wrangling.
Let's tell our audience where they can find Braindead. There are several copies of Dead Alive, Braindead on YouTube.
Yes.
There's one in particular that is put out, I can assume, by a Frenchman, and I will have a link to it on the website. Gautier de Bourman.
That sounds more...
Is that not French?
No, go ahead. I don't know.
It's Spanish.
It sounds Spanish to me, but...
Yeah, it's the day in there. Gautier.
Good.
It doesn't have a great picture, but the sound's all there.
Yeah.
There's others. There's one that the picture looks awesome. The sound cuts out every 5 minutes for about 3 or 4 minutes at a time.
Well, I am watching, I guess, the DVD. No, it is. Yeah, it's a Blu-ray copy. This thing has gone through, if you read the end of the Wikipedia, there's just been so many different versions, and this says I'm watching a Blu-ray, and it looks really good, but it is still very grainy. But at the very end of the Wikipedia, it says that since 2012, Peter Jackson said, or I should say in 2012, he said that these would be this, Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, Heavenly Creatures, all of his older movies were going to be restored and remastered. So
okay,
can't wait for that.
Can't wait for the VR version of this movie.
Oh my God, with commentary, with a 10-hour long featurette. That would actually be great.
So this movie was filmed in New Zealand.
Yeah.
In Wellington.
Mm-hmm. Where the boots come from.
Peter Jackson has a house in Wellington. I guess he grew up there as well. I think that the house was willed to him when his parents passed when he was making the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh, well, that's a bummer. I thought you were going to say that this is based on a true story and he lived in the...
Oh, it could have been.
That would have been better. Peter Jackson is in this as the...
Yes,
gross,
I read that. I didn't recognize him. I didn't see him, I guess.
He's like the Vera, his mother, when she finally is taken to the... I don't know if it's a morgue or if it's the mortician or... but you know, there's that guy with the glasses that is, we'll get to that later, but she kind of explodes in his, what do you call that? I was going to say lab, but that sounded scary. Anyway, she kind of explodes with all that green stuff. And Peter Jackson is the guy that has like a hipster haircut now. Like his head is shaved on the sides, but he's got like a curly, thing going on the top. This movie, I don't think I really realized because it is so foreign. It's looks British or Australian or something.
It has that British feel.
Yes,
but it's being in New Zealand. I guess we're not too far off from Australian. But
I think the movie is occurring in the 50s.
Yes,
that is my.
I read it's supposed to be 1957. I think that's what I read.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, 1957 explorer Stuart McAlden and his team smuggle a captured Sumatran rat monkey, a hybrid creature that resulted from the rape of tree monkeys by plague-carrying rats out of Skull Island.
Yeah, Skull Island.
This is straight off of Wikipedia. Skull Island, which is...
also home to King Kong.
There you go. In which Peter Jackson did the remake of King Kong.
Which apparently was utterly forgettable because I've seen it twice and I couldn't tell you a thing about it.
There was a dinosaur. There was a big nose guy.
That's Jurassic Park, Tim.
Okay.
You're just describing Jurassic Park.
A guy who had his shirt off.
Guy got eaten on a toilet.
There was some dinosaur poop. Anyway, let's start this film off because it goes pretty quick into the whole setup of Skull Island.
I feel like this is the movie that he kind of wanted to make. Like, it's like Indiana Jones kind of with what is that hat that guy is wearing is very distracting. Is that like a New Zealand thing?
You're talking about the little hard hat type.
He's got like a you've got a hat like that. What do they call it?
Oh, you're talking about the bucket hat. You don't like the bucket hat he's wearing?
No, I don't. No. It's weird. It looks like it's like his grandma's hat. Maybe it is his grandma's hat. Who knows? We'll never know the answer to all of these questions.
It's like something out of the 70s, maybe, or like the Huggy Bear would be wearing.
Yep. Yeah. So they are bringing the Sumatran rat monkey, which is basically just when you see it in the movie, it is just a stop motion rat.
Yes.
It doesn't look like a monkey, really.
Right. No.
Also, it's very poor.
And I wondered that because, so they had some good special effects in this film. Yeah. They really, really did.
Wikipedia says they spent $3 million. The budget was $3 million.
They came in under budget.
Yeah.
And then they went back and they actually filmed the scene at the park with the baby.
Okay, because that was hilarious.
That's what they spent that extra money on. That they came in under budget. So
God, I can't believe. Well, then by the end, the just the entire scene at the house, the last 30-40 minutes of the movie there's so much going on at the same time. I mean, if you just paused it once while all those people are like running around in the house, there is so much shit going on. So I could see how they had to spend a bunch of money on special effects. But most of them practical.
Just gallons and gallons and gallons of goop.
It said something crazy on Wikipedia, like 72.9 gallons of blood were used in it. And it also is not just blood. It's like KY, blood, cream corn. They probably had some curry, I guess. I don't know what they use for, like, special effects stuff. There's also a lot of models in this. Did you spot all the models?
Dude, I had a question about that too. So when we finally get to the town,
cuts to the plane landing,
right,
and the guy is dead, having both of his.
Right. Well, the guy got scratched by the monkey.
Yes. And they said Zingaya, which is, I guess, the name for the rat monkey. I don't know. You tell me.
Sure.
They just say it over and over again. Zingaya. It's like Bazinga, in that show. Oh, I wish young Sheldon would get bitten by a rat monkey.
So when the head scientist guy gets scratched by the rat monkey, the native guy goes crazy and chops off his hand.
Yeah, hand goes first.
First hand violence right there. And then they cut off his arm. Mm-hmm. And then they see that his head's been scratched, so they go right after his head.
And that goes into the title, which is pretty great.
Cutting off of these limbs, I mean, it is cheap. Mm-hmm. It's a cheap effect, but they did a good job on such little money.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and that's why, maybe the yarn wall where we take care of some of this stuff, maybe by then we'll have some more info on who actually did I feel like Peter Jackson did a lot of the, because I think for Bad Taste, he basically did everything,
Yes.
So.
And that's what I was reading about Bad Taste, that he did a lot of his own effects.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not trying to be, he is trying to be silly from the beginning.
Yes.
He is not trying to put out a film like Demonoid. Who is trying to be serious and ended up being hilarious. He's pumped the comedy and the camp into this. Even with the plane taking off, it's an obvious model flying through the clouds.
Yes.
I have no problem with this whatsoever.
No. The plane is fine. I mean, that's more than fine. But it's when it's the trolleys for some reason that was...
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Well, the only thing that I can figure is there is trolley violence later, where she gets thrown through the store window and slides 10 feet.
Hilarious.
That made me laugh out loud when she just kind of skidded to a stop, and he says, what does he say? They must have discharged her early. Yeah. She's walking down the street, fully zombified by now, just leaking that stuff from whoever plays her once she's zombified. Once it's actually a costume, is really great at doing those lurching zombie movements. But yeah, that made me laugh.
But the trolleys, like you said, they look like they're out of Mr. Rogers.
Exactly, yes. They look like King Friday should be showing up to, and Meow Meow Kitty. Anyway, I don't know. Other than I think Peter Jackson is just kind of a nerd about that stuff. I guess for younger people who are watching this, it's hard to keep both of these things in your head, that this is one of his first movies, and also he did Lord of the Rings, which is a filmmaking and special effects, it's just one of the best
ever.
But also, he did a lot with not a lot of stuff, so that just shows his genius, I suppose.
So this girl that is running the love interest, Paquita Maria Sanchez.
Yes, she's adorable, and I love her character throughout the movie because she puts up with a lot of stuff.
And she obviously is not bothered by anything. I think she's just horny.
Yes. Well, I mean, she has they kind of have the same setup as Phantasm, where her kind of gypsy, well, I don't know if that's a derogatory term or not, but, you know.
Yes, we love all our gypsy followers.
Yeah, if you're a gypsy out there, call us. But, you know, she reads the tarot or whatever and tells her that she's going to meet Lionel, basically.
This is her mother that does that, correct? Which
yeah,
is
her mother. Yes.
Paquita's grandmother, actually.
Right.
Davina Whitehouse, which she reminded me so much of the witchy woman in Drag Me to Hell.
Yes. Right.
But the more kind and funny version, maybe.
Yes, exactly. She's not evil,
right,
which you would think that she would be.
And tranquilizers. We've got to talk about tranquilizers.
I hate it when I get the animal tranquilizer mixed up with the animal, what was it, animal stimulant?
Exactly.
They look exactly the same with the exact same bottle.
We just thought it was poison.
Right.
And
it's basically a Bugs Bunny plot, or like a Wile E. Coyote thing.
So Paquita's just running this store for her grandparents and looking for love.
Yes. But her grandma does do, there's a prophecy that I guess that she's going to meet a certain guy, and apparently Lionel is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like the love interest in this town of Wellington is probably a little slim.
Yeah.
There's slim
There's
pickings
two guys.
here.
One is the guy that delivers the milk.
And the ham and bacon goods.
Yeah, he says something about, there's a lot of like references to like New Zealand food that I just completely glossed over. I was like, oh, well, that must be something that it's like Vegemite or something. Marmite.
But I think they did a very good job on making it look like it was from the 50s.
Yes.
In the trivia for this on IMDb goes on how many goofs there are because of the quote unquote timeline, but
who cares?
Just look past it.
Who fucking cares?
This is,
yeah, sure. But yeah, Lionel is kind of a milk toasty guy. He's kind of handsome. He sort of looks like Viggo Mortensen a little bit, but he is a wimp.
He's been beaten down all of his life because of his mum.
Right, yes.
Oh, my mum.
He's having weird water hallucinations.
You don't get it till later.
Exactly. You don't get it until almost the very end.
He does have the flashes of what happened to his father.
Right.
Who we don't know.
Yeah.
We just know that his mother, who is some sort of wealthy,
yeah, like a dowager, or what are they called? Like a I don't know what dowager means. I was about to say it, and I was like, oh well.
I like that though.
A widow with a title or property derived from her late husband. So yeah, I was right.
That's perfect. So Lionel goes into the little shop to get some groceries.
Yes.
She's taken aback by him. No, she knows them.
Yes, they have he's been in there before, but now that she has talked to her grandmother, about her.
Now that her grandmother's put it in her mind that she is going to meet somebody, and she's just all horny now.
Yes. I don't know if she's horny. Maybe I guess there is.
Well, when she was meeting
the footballer,
the other delivery guy, she let her dress strap fall down off her shoulder to be like, what do you think?
Oh, that is true. Oh, well, let's not dwell on her horniness for very long. You won't get a chance to, because
there's only one sex scene in this film.
Ooh, and you only hear it, thank God. That is insane what happens later. Lionel reminds me of Martin Short doing Ed Grimley a little bit, kind of. He's got the hair, and
I keep going back to Richard E. Grant. Why?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's similar, but he's too much of a wimp.
Well, I think they wanted him to be more of a wimp, so he would be able to come back and
be the hero
finally nut up. Oh, is that the right word? Do I want to say that? Nut up?
Nut up? Why are you saying that?
I don't know.
Nut. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Nut up. Grow some balls. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Just came out
Or
wrong.
Up hair. I hate saying things like this, but Evil Dead and Sam Raimi had to have been an influence on him, you know? From, I mean, there's so many. He didn't steal anything. He has a very. There's a signature kind of Peter Jackson directing, you know, that you would know one of his movies, just like Sam Raimi, but they are very, just the slapstick part of it, I suppose, is.
Yeah.
I mean, he just had to have watched Evil Dead, and it just had to have been his favorite movie, besides stupid King Kong.
A little bit of Peter Jackson trivia here.
Ooh, good.
He is 5'4" 3/4.
I think, didn't we just say this last week?
I think we did, and I got to repeat this. It bears repeating. This guy, he's short and round.
Yes. He's always wearing shorts. Like, I think he wore a tuxedo with shorts to the Oscars after Lord of the Rings.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's in his trademark. He has 14 trademarks, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know how many Oscars he has now. I'm not going to go into that.
Who knows, man?
Because he didn't get an Oscar from this film.
No.
But if there was a category in which this film could fit into the Oscars,
yes,
it would have won.
Yeah. Grossest movie ever?
Ever. He met his wife, Fran Walsh, during the post-production for Bad Taste.
Oh my God. He's basically in Bad Taste as the same character that he is in this, which is just a complete goofball, you know, kind of,
okay,
you know, just slapstick goofball. But he drools a lot in Bad Taste. He drools a little bit in this, and there's also, this movie has so many gross things going on, but one that actually sort of made me sick to my stomach was not even, it wasn't gore. It was the Nazi pharmacist with all that saliva just kind of built up on his. Yes. That was totally grossing me out. I kind of flipped past that. And also, you know, the beginning of this movie, I mean, it doesn't really get going until about 30 minutes in. And I kept trying to kind of like skip ahead a little bit, you know, through some of the dialogue. You can't skip ahead. There is stuff happening in the beginning, gross special effects wise, but her arm, when she finally gets back to the house after going to the zoo and all that, is so gross. That little thing that's like moving in her arm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the sounds are, like you said, disgusting. So what's her name again? Oh, my God,
Vera
saying that.
Is his grandma or his mom?
No, I'm talking about
Paquita.
Paquita. So she comes to deliver the food, kind of hits on Lionel. Lionel invites her to the zoo, or she invited herself to the zoo.
She invites it. She makes a date.
And which they go, but then Mom decides to
sneak up,
go spy on him.
Yes, it's a very weird relationship that they have. Oh man, I hope I can hold my lunch down when we get to the custard eating scene, because that is really gross. You know what's really gross? The inside of New Zealanders' mouths. That's right. I'm calling you guys out. Like, stop showing me all. Ugh. Man, and just the consistency of the, it's tough. It's really tough.
So when they run over to watch the monkeys in the zoo, and the one monkey gets attacked by the rat monkey in the next cage, and it rips its hand off, and oh my gosh, starts chewing on its arm. I mean, it is the worst stop motion animation ever.
Like they're missing a bunch of frames in there. Although the rat monkey like doll thing does look pretty cool.
I'm just watching the rat monkey pull the monkey's arm off through the cage so it can chew on it.
And all that like matted hair. Ugh.
I'll go to read this some more too. That this was going to get an even possible 15 rating, I
Right.
guess this when they were releasing this, because even though it has a copious, and that is just selling it lightly, copious amounts of blood and gore,
Yeah.
it is so obviously fake and over the top
Yes.
that it's laughable.
Yes. The comedy elements kind of outweigh the grossness.
Right.
That's what they thought. They were wrong, as evidenced by him pulling that dog out of her mouth.
Yes. What did I have written down here? Your mom ate my dog.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, by the way, great New Zealand accent just then.
Oh, thank you.
Nailed it.
Who is the zookeeper?
Oh, just some guy. It looked like a Monty Python skit, and he was just kind of like, he pulls out the dead monkey and dribbles some monkey blood onto Paquita's
Yes.
her heels.
At first, I thought was urine, but no.
Yeah, there's going to be some urine later
Oh,
that
yeah.
is really gross too. Somehow, it's just yellow liquid, but the type and like what it's made out of that he settled on is just so gross. Everything is so like viscous, you know, and just
Mm-hmm.
it just I can't imagine like working in those types of conditions. I mean, they had to like change their outfits a million times, you would think, because literally everything in and around the house just has a layer of gross stuff on it.
Yes. So Mom is sneaking up. So Lionel and Paquita are sitting down on the bench,
Having a great time.
just a little ways away from where they saw the monkey incident.
Yeah.
And Mom slips on a banana peel
Yes.
and falls back into the cage.
Yes.
That's how the rat monkey gets a hold of her arm and bites her.
Perfect.
And infects her.
Perfect.
But she takes no time at all to kill this monkey.
Yeah. Crushing its head with her heel till its like little eyeball pops out.
Yeah.
That was gross.
I love the there's one guy that's in the crowd watching her.
She's like,
and
"Oh."
just kind of but then he pulls his camera up to take a picture.
Well, sure. I mean, you want to.
It just made me laugh. Yeah.
That's fine.
The woman who plays Mom,
Mm-hmm.
she has not had a lot of credits. She does an excellent job in this film.
Yeah.
She really just way over the top.
Yeah. I don't know at what point it stops being her and is like a stuntman after that, because
Okay.
her are those relatives that come over to eat?
That is the group that she has been invited to
right.
join. It's like the head of whatever prestigious group.
Yeah, it's like a
So the nurse comes over to bandage up Mom's arm, and we'll see that nurse here a little bit later
Yes.
as well. But and it just kind of glosses into the next morning where Lionel's trying to re-bandage her arm.
Yes.
And there is just some real gross effects going
Just
on.
the fluid work in this movie is amazing. I need to know who did that, you know. But it's sort of like Pepto-Bismol hair conditioner and like blood and KY all in the same, and then you put it in like a
custard.
a custard. Ugh. The word custard is grossing me out too. I don't know that I've ever had custard, or I may never have any.
So Mom jumps out of bed because she has to impress these people,
Yes.
because she's got to get in the group. She can't even talk straight because she's so infected.
Yes.
But she goes to put on makeup, and that's when she tears her cheek
Right.
when she's putting on makeup.
And he pulls out that little jar of glue with the rubber tip.
Yes,
And I was like, oh my
yes.
God, I used to have one of those. That's how fucking old I am. That's what we used in elementary school or whatever.
It made it impossible to sniff the glue, yeah.
I guess they made sniff-proof bottles because all the kids were...
Yes.
I know I was popping a few brain cells, if you know what I mean. We also used to have markers that were, like, toxic.
You know, when Piper was getting into colored markers and shit like that, they had sniffable markers.
exactly.
I'm like, what are we teaching these kids?
No. Kids, if you're listening out there, don't watch this movie and don't sniff markers from the 60s.
Don't eat glue. Stay away from custard.
Yeah.
We are full of good sense today.
Yep.
Mom sits down to dinner with these two.
Mm-hmm. She's having a hard time.
This is where I think it starts really, really getting gross.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't know if it's when Mom reached over and grabbed a freaking, looks like a meatball or just a steak or something off her plate and just starts chowing down.
Oh, man.
Or when the pudding is brought to the table because the one guy demands pudding. Do you want to just fast forward through this scene?
No, I have seen it today, but it's fine.
Can you make it pass?
Becoming inured to it. Inured? Sounds weird.
When Mom, do you want me to describe
Go
it?
ahead.
Do I mean, need to describe it?
Go ahead.
Because I'm watching him eat this, this pudding in this really big spoon, just really slowly, really savoring it.
With his big New Zealand face.
The pus. Slop.
That's what there's a lot of in this movie. Pus.
Where it squirts out of Mom's bandage and into his bowl. And I really thought that would infect him, but it doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. No. Do these people make it out alive?
They leave the house. Now, I think they come back later.
He says, rich and creamy, just the way I like it.
But Mom's ear falls off.
Yeah.
Into her bowl of pudding, and then she eats it.
With a giant pearl earring on it that she spits out later.
So gross.
Yeah, it is. Somebody had to be in that makeup and actually do that, like put that thing in their mouth.
Oh, there are plenty of flesh chewing bits in this movie.
There are.
The priest's mouth.
Oh, my God.
That was just over the top.
It was.
So Paquita comes over to see him, and
she brings her Irish setter or whatever over. Big mistake.
They run upstairs. I guess the dog make a noise or something.
Yes, you can hear it kind of yelping, I think.
And all that's left of the dog is barely sticking out of Mom's mouth is a little bit of the tail.
Yep.
And he pulls it out of her mouth. It is so disgusting.
Paquita says, your mom ate my dog? And he's like, well, not all of it. And then it pans over to just like deer guts or something. I mean, like it looked like
just Phil dressed a deer in your bed.
Yes, exactly. It's disgusting. But it really is kind of a ramp up. Like, I mean, him pulling the dog, you know, like a giant hairball out of her mouth. As a viewer, you're like, oh, this is going to be like completely disgusting.
So is this after Mom falls down the stairs? Is this where the other actor takes over in Mom's makeup?
Yes,
maybe?
she's still the actress when she's like trying to bite Paquita, and then they fall down the stairs and the makeup changes, and I'm pretty sure it's she has one more scene where he's kind of like, you know, holding her.
Yeah, while she's dying.
Yeah.
Yes.
But after that, pretty sure it's a stunt person. I hope it is, because there is lots of violence.
This movie is so well shot.
Yeah, for sure.
It works really good with extreme close-ups.
Mm-hmm. All the action scenes they're disgusting, but they're very well like blocked, and you know, Nurse McTavish, who
yes, she's
gonna stick around the house for a while.
Mom just kind of comes back to life and grabs her from the back of the head.
Yep.
It almost has this moment of The Thing.
Yeah, where
you know, when
Wilford Brimley.
Yes. Yeah, when Wilford Brimley kind of shoves his hand into Gary's mouth.
It is almost exactly the same. Do you think that he was kind of trying to
pay an homage? Sure.
I don't know. She sinks her fingers into her cheeks from behind, very much like The Thing, but then pops her head off and
rips it backward.
Blood goes everywhere.
Well, it doesn't necessarily pop her head off.
No, it's not
still
completely
attached.
Yes, it's still attached, like a Pez dispenser.
Exactly, and I have that written down here.
Yeah, yep.
My wife said Pezzy the nurse.
Yeah, I would accept all of these. That's just same thing, but grosser, you know?
So Paquita's upstairs trying to pack a bag for Mom so she can go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, he just wants to keep everything normal.
Yes.
I think that's what he's trying to do throughout this entire film, is to fix everything, which is impossible.
No.
With this nastiness.
Yes. And Paquita is like just charmed with him. Like she is just, this is the man of her dreams. He is sweating constantly.
When he's not covered with goo.
Yep. So the nurse immediately is zombified, and she takes I had to watch it again. It's a little duck. It's like a duck decoration. And he throws it like a ninja star straight into her head.
And it's there for the rest of the movie.
Yes. This movie is very thorough about, continuity of like fluids and
Mom comes over to grab Lionel.
Yes.
He dodges out of the way.
Yes.
She ends up grabbing the nurse. So we've got zombie nurse and zombie mom just wrestling with each other.
Yeah. When the nurse stands up behind him, which I really like the dead contacts, just that milky white. It looks really cool. But for a brief second, it plays crickets, kind of like when you see Pumpkinhead, or when Pumpkinhead's going to enter the scene.
Cicadas.
Yeah, cicadas.
I heard cicadas, yeah.
I've gotten so used to that sound in horror movies. It's a cool effect.
Mom comes after him, and he opens up the cellar door and just lets her fly down the stairs.
Yes.
The nurse...
He kind of wheelbarrows her down there.
Yes, he grabs her and does a wheelbarrow and just slides her down the stairs.
Yeah. That's how you're supposed to do it. When you're pushing people down into a dungeon, hey, that's how you got to do it.
He's trying to sleep at night, and he hears the zombie mom and zombie nurse down in the freaking basement knocking on the door. It is very Evil Dead 2-ish, Evil Dead-ish.
And also there's a scene that little later on that is just basically the exact same scene from Evil Dead 2. So I'm just going to call it then.
Okay.
But I'll tell you when it pops up. Hey, before we get to the Nazi pharmacist.
The vet.
Is that what he is? I was
yeah,
wondering.
He's
Okay,
a vet.
it is a vet. Okay, good. Whatever he's doing to that thing on the table is obscene. I don't want to think
but
about
he's into it.
Yeah.
He's into it.
But can we take a little break?
Yeah, let's take a little break.
All right, so where were we?
We are talking about Nazi veterinarians.
Oh, my God. Like I said earlier, this is the part that I had like more problems with than some other things. When he flips around, when Lionel opens the door, if you pause it, I don't want anybody to try this.
Don't do it, but you can pause it.
If you pause it, he slings saliva out of his mouth.
Yes.
What is he doing to that? Does he have a monkey, or is that a cat?
At first I wondered if that was the Sumatran rat monkey.
Yes. I don't think it is, because
no, it's not.
No, it's not. It basically just looks like a cat, but he's like pushing a Q-tip up its butt or into its belly.
It is super gross.
Anyway,
but he has those beady little glasses on, kind of like
kind of Terry Gilliam,
right? Or I was thinking with Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, he does kind of look like that guy too.
I also wrote down here that I was wondering, was that played by Neil Patrick Harris?
Maybe. I don't know. That would be, amazing.
He has a lab coat on, but the arm of it has been ripped. You can see the Nazi symbol.
Yes, he looks like he has an armband on.
Yes, underneath his lab coat.
Yeah.
But he's obviously has problems with saliva. He's asking the vet for
Yeah, what does he say?
He said he's looking for just basic meds or narcotics, maybe.
Right.
And the veterinarian's like, "Oh, what kind of person do you think I am?" He's like, "But I do have tranquilizers."
Because since there's a giant jug of it.
In which he just gives to Lionel. Here, have this whole bottle.
Yeah. Do you want to pay me for that? Or is there a receipt or something?
There's instructions on the back of the bottle, and it specifically says transnasally.
Oh, okay, I missed that because...
No, it's not on there. I'm joking.
Okay, good. Because that was cracking me up that... I wonder if he discovered that in filming, that it just made it so much more uncomfortable if he shoots her in the nose every time.
Yes.
But he totally does shoot her in the nose.
Up
with
the
that,
nose, into the brain. Yeah. It's so gross. But he goes down to trank, I guess, Mom and the nurse just to keep them.
This is what I was talking about earlier. He goes back home with the tranquilizer and gets all of his cricket gear on, like his... shin guards and all that stuff.
And helmets and pads, yes.
When he opens up that basement door, that is just straight from Evil Dead.
Ah.
When Ash walks into the shed, I think, for the first time. He kind of kicks open the door and there's light behind him. I mean, it just... Yeah. I just can't imagine that that's not a... basically the entire basement situation, is very Evil Dead-like.
So the nurse creeps up on him and he jabs her straight in the freaking eye with this syringe.
She already has a duck sticking out of her head. And now she has a syringe right in her eyeball. And then her head falls off.
Yeah, every time her head falls back.
It is precariously sitting on her shoulders. I love it.
But then Mom attacks him from behind, but he has some of this judo move.
Yeah, he kind of
grabs her and flips her over the shoulder.
Yeah, he's suddenly a badass.
He knows exactly what to do.
Yeah.
He just does it all wrong.
It is cracking me up that he shoots that straight into her nose. It just makes it so much grosser that way.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Now we cut back to him trying to... He goes back to the store to talk to Paquita or something, doesn't he? He ends up back at the store. You see another model trolley.
Uh-huh.
It's like, ding, ding. It's literally like when you see like the gravy train in the old gravy train like ads,
Yeah.
It's not great. It just must be one of his kind of peculiar... You know how some guys in like middle age, they like get really into trains or something, If anybody with that disorder is listening to this, I'm sorry, but...
What do they call it?
I think they call it Lionel. Oh, his name is Lionel.
Oh.
What the
now
hell?
It's all coming together.
Stop the podcast. Burn the tape.
Cracked it.
Weird. Okay. So that's never going to be explained, by the way. So it's just...
Nope, that was just
everybody
us.
Stop thinking about it.
Peter Jackson, if you're listening, we cracked it.
Yep. Give your psychiatrist a call. Your therapist.
So here's your favorite scene because Lionel goes in to talk to Paquita, but Paquita, I guess, decides that he needs to get a reading from her grandmother.
Yes.
With the tarot cards, in which everything is like death, death, death. But right before that you actually see the first flash of somebody being drowned in a bathtub.
Yeah. A woman this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a little strange.
Yep, it is.
We're cutting back and forth between Mom escaping the cellar and tracking him down to the
small town, I guess. Maybe they're a couple of blocks away, maybe.
Maybe. And then she gets hit by the trolley and goes soaring through the front door.
Just crashes. Everything is so over the top. Yeah, I like that slide. She kind of...
Yes.
And she has the close sign hanging around her neck. I kind of glosses over what happens after that, because now are we at her funeral? I think so.
At least he had the syringe on him.
Yes.
So he immediately jabbed it straight into her nose and tranked her. And that's what he's continuing to do throughout this, is tranking her to keep her so they can bury her.
Yes, that's what says she can be buried and won't eat any of the people at the funeral. There's a big open shot of like the graveyard and the church and stuff, and it just looks so, I mean, You know, kind of the same thing when we watch Rawhead Rex, you know, like everything's so like quaint and
yes,
perfect setting for a disgustingly violent movie.
And then Uncle Les shows up.
Oh, God. Uncle Les, who looks like a rockabilly Donald Trump a little bit.
That's pretty good. I was going to go with a fat bastard.
Yes, he is a large man who you see him with a cold sore.
Yeah.
That just multiplies as the movie goes on. He's got like 2 of them to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then later on, his whole face.
That maybe what we didn't realize, though, that he was wearing a wig in this portion, this pompadour that he has.
Yeah. This is very fake hair.
I need to get a pompadour wig.
Gotta get it. You could do that Lyle Lovett cosplay that you wanted to do. And I was going to be Julia Roberts.
So, but Uncle Les is really gross.
Yeah.
He's only showing up because he wants Mom's money.
Right.
Really.
Yeah. And also to just drop some weird knowledge about Lionel's dad too. Not that you really care about any of the. I mean, I think that drowning stuff is just. I easily could have done without it.
Yeah, but it does tell you how evil Mom was to begin with, right?
Yeah, I guess it's so you don't feel bad when he's like throwing her through windows and shoving a needle up her nose. After the funeral, ? I don't know what happens. She's just like fluids all over her. But that is all just prelude to a really cool cemetery scene.
Yes.
Where you find out that the priest is
a badass.
More than he appears.
He probably has one of the best lines ever in any film.
Yes.
So what happened is during the actual ceremony for having Mom buried, Lionel goes to give her another shot of trank so she doesn't like do exactly what she does, which is burst through the freaking coffin and attack him.
He should have just left it alone, but he like unscrewed the lid.
Yeah. At least the lid was bolted down. Lionel's snooping around the back hallways of this church/cemetery. This is the same setting, by the way, as Demonoid.
Okay.
The priest is Stuart Whitman and Demonoid. They are the same. I'm going to make some connections here.
Okay. I'll allow it.
But it looks like there's an old embalming machine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Is this Mom that's attached to it, or is it? Who is it?
Yeah. It looks like everything is. I don't know what machines. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's like one of the. It's like draining her blood and then pumping like a
glow stick.
Oh, like formaldehyde, I guess, like a
green fluorescent formaldehyde. But when underneath the sheet, it looks like it reminded me of like Willy Wonka and the Never-Ending Gobstopper being made.
Yeah,
but that's not Mom. It's being pumped because just after that's when he goes into.
Oh, that's right.
Mom's casket. So I don't know who is that. The nurse.
It for sure is his mom, right? Well, yes, it is because he's going to tranquilize her again. He has the needle in his hand when he goes into that little when he goes into the little
right. So I'm thinking that was the nurse because Mom's in the casket that he unscrews.
I think it was just a bit of continuity breakdown there.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I love that Led Zeppelin song, Continuity Breakdown. Anyway, the guys that bust through after like she's shot all this antifreeze out of her mouth. There's the like mortician, I assume, and then his assistant is Peter Jackson.
Okay,
He's the guy with
it.
the curly hair and the... Did you notice that they both had sandwiches laying on her?
He runs over and grabs a sandwich. I was going to point that out because that's totally on the bingo cards at this point.
But I feel like that's kind of a, not an urban legend, but like it's like a good luck type thing, is to have morticians eating in your movie, you know?
But Lionel can't leave anything alone. He goes to dig Mung back up.
Yeah.
To give her more tranquilizer. Is that it?
Or take her back to the house so he can watch after her, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
Unclear.
The normal freaking cemetery gang thugs that come and rough him up.
Right. Got all punks hang out in cemeteries.
And he pees on Mum's grave.
Very viscous pee. You know, it just looks like... Well, and it's a color that, I mean, I worry about that guy's liver. Is it lipids or something that they like? I don't know. Again, the way this scene is lit, very Evil Dead. Everybody has like lights shining up on their face.
Yeah.
There's a shovel. I guess if you're in a graveyard, there's going to be a shovel, but.
So Mum's hand comes up and grabs the guy's dick basically and pulls him back down to the grave. And just
does
I don't know exactly. It's a
like a piranha on on his stomach,
just spewing blood out, and she throws him through the air into the other thugs,
like 50 feet away. But like her face, the kind of final makeup for her, that big mask. Okay, this is the last time I'm going to say it, but it does look very Evil Dead, kind of, you know.
So now all the thugs and Mum are coming after Lionel.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here comes Karate Priest.
Yes. Love this actor.
He does a great job in this.
Yeah, he really does.
Way over the top.
Yep.
And his moves are pretty styling. I mean, he's got some magic feet.
It is a stunt man, because even though this guy is wearing a wig too.
Go ahead and say his famous line just for our audience.
He says, "I kick ass for the Lord."
It's very nice.
And you really need to get that on a t-shirt, like as soon as possible. Okay, there's one guy that looks like Adamant. He's like the main character or the main punk. And there's another guy that looks like Biff. Right. He tries to do a judo move on him, and it just rips his arm completely off. And then he does the thing where he flips his leg around his arm and then kicks him like 20 times in the face. Uh-huh. The whole time there's just blood, like a old Japanese movie, just like spewing everywhere. I love when he just kicks his legs off.
He sweeps his legs, but tears his whole body in half. Yes. It's awesome.
That was beautiful. But then that head finally falls back down and bites the priest on the neck. Mm-hmm. Then he does like a Bruce Lee Jeet Kune Do jump kick.
Mm-hmm. A flying tiger.
Yes. Yeah. And exactly. And ends up getting impaled on a angel that looks like it's giving kind of a
staying alive
Olympics. Kind of yeah, right. I was going to say like the Olympic like solidarity thing, but yeah, it's all of those.
So in order to clean up all of this mess, though,
need a pressure washer for this movie.
So Lionel decides that he's still trying to keep everybody under wraps. So he takes them all back to his house because he has a big house.
Yeah.
Even the thugs.
Yeah. The main punk, his name is Void.
Okay.
Which I did like.
All right.
Lionel's still being so polite. He's calling him. He's like, "Oh, Void. You're not supposed to eat breakfast like that." Yeah. And then he like shoves eggs all the way back through his throat. Oh.
The spoon goes through his backside, which later I think does the mom or the nurse reaches over and grabs the food off the back of the spoon.
Yeah. Well, it was food and like it looks like a little bit of his brain too.
Yeah.
And yes. And they're all in like continuity makeup. So like the nurse has the finger marks down her face. She still has Pez head and a duck embedded in her forehead. But yeah, her and the priest like getting horny for each other as zombies.
Yes, is disgusting.
Disgusting and hilarious.
She's trying to eat and the food is coming out of her neck. So Lionel goes over and just Pez dispensers her head back and starts shoveling food down her throat.
Yes. And it's, I don't know what they're eating, but it's like the color of curry. Ugh, so gross. And yet somehow Uncle Les is the grossest character out of all of them. And he's alive.
He comes into the house and uses the bathroom, takes a leak, and this is the most uncomfortable thing ever, is just listening to him grunt as he's trying to pee.
God. You're at like wiener level POV for him. Yeah, he is a disgusting character. I think he's wearing like a fake stomach or something.
Maybe a fat suit, yeah.
It moves independently of the rest of his body. His gut does. Is that like breath freshener that he has that he's sucking on every once in a while?
I think he's doing whippets.
I mean, that would explain the hair at least.
It's a weird tube-like thing. I assume is kind of an inhaler of some sort. Okay. Like in Blue Velvet where, you know.
He's got the oxygen. I assume that that's nitrous.
Yes.
He's just on laughing gas the entire time. And Pabst Blue Ribbon. I like a man who's passionate about his Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Lionel's blocking the kitchen off so Les won't get in there, but the nurse and the priest are getting it on in the background. You can hear them going at it. Just zombie sex, just over the top zombie sex. Les comes over and he's like, "Oh, you found your dad's stash."
Right.
He's like, think he's watching a porn.
A stag movie.
He says, "Is it the one with the donkey and the chambermaid?"
Ew.
That's what he says. Like, oh.
Also implying that Lionel's dad is a gross piece of shit too, so.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if he hung out with Uncle Les, yeah, he's not somebody you want around. Not a pleasant person.
So after Les leaves, then Lionel goes in to break up the sex feast that's going on.
Yep.
In which the nurse is kissing him, but biting his...
Yeah, like kind of sucking his face off.
Oh, and... he's trying to tear him apart and it rips the mouth off of the priest.
Yeah.
And in which she just eats it.
Yeah. Like eats his lips. Up until this point, that's the grossest thing you've seen. But past this point, not the grossest thing that you'll see. It gets worse.
Very much so.
Lionel's so mean to Paquita. He's just trying to protect her, I assume.
As he has yet another bottle of tranquilizer.
Paquita should not be on the road right there because that trolley has killed like 3 people now. It's the most dangerous trolley in New Zealand.
We saw a little scene of where the nurse is now pregnant.
Yes, you see her belly getting bigger.
So I guess zombie babies, they come to full term in a matter of just minutes?
I think that's pretty common for these types of movies. You know, like any trauma movie. If there's sex involved, there will be a mutated baby within mere hours.
The second act.
Yeah, so Lionel comes down to check on him after getting another jug of tranquilizer. I assume from the same slobbery Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a new disgustingly slimy thing to look at.
At least he put some clothes on it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Where he came up with these clothes.
Oh, let's not.
But the ugliest mutated baby.
It looks like if you've ever seen H.R. Giger's babies that have those like weird cold sores and they're like smoking cigarettes. That's basically what you're getting.
So the zombie baby attacks Lionel.
Yeah.
He throws it against the wall, and he does what we said Stuart Whitman should have done with the hand.
Uh-huh.
He puts a bucket over it.
Yep.
You can trap anything with a bucket.
I mean, never mind about hands and stuff not being able to, they don't have like leverage or anything like that. But I mean, I guess today you'd put like a Amazon box or something over it, you know.
His whole scene taking the baby to the park.
I love it. I love it that it's like, well, it's an undead baby, a disgusting baby monster, but, you know, it is a baby.
And his acting,
yeah,
even with trying to get the stroller to go down the freaking hill, is so over the top acting. He's awesome.
Yeah, he really is. I just noticed something when you see the baby POV. It has like barbed wire.
Oh, yes.
It has like a barbed wire cage that's keeping it in the stroller. This guy does do some really good physical comedy.
He's playing with the baby in the park and he's mimicking what he's seeing this other woman with her baby in the park.
Yeah, just being cute and making cooing noises at it.
Believe that is Fran Walsh. That is Peter Jackson's wife.
Okay. Very good. The wino kind of looks familiar for some reason too. I think I'm thinking he looks like Ian McKellen or something when he was young.
So the stroller rolls down the hill, dumps the baby out, and there's a whole series of scenes with this zombie baby just being thrown around this park, beaten up, run over by a bicycle, laughing hysterically.
Yeah, it does have a very weird laugh.
That baby laugh is horrible.
Yeah, that's bad.
And that's when we first see the, like you said, forced perspective of a large baby, a large man baby.
Yes. Ugh. In that like little baby outfit. It's really gross.
He grabs the kid. He grabs the baby. He punches it. He kicks it. He slams it against the freaking
pole, the swing set.
It comes after him. He hits it with the swing. The bums over there laughing like it's a great show.
Yes. Yes. That scene made me laugh pretty hard.
Pretty awesome that this was made after the fact. This is what he spent the extra budget on.
Right.
The saved budget was to make that scene. That's pretty damn cool.
You know, him getting back to the house with Uncle Les there. This is kind of like the beginning of the end. He just throws that baby down the steps. He just like hurls that bag down the steps.
You say it's the beginning of the end. We still have 40 minutes left of this movie.
Well,
and this is the cleanest part of the film right here.
Right. This is the calm before the storm.
Uncle Les now has no less than 4 now spots on his lip.
Yeah. That's not good. Not good.
Super gross.
It's a hard face to look at. Oh my God. He's tied the baby to the nurse.
Yes.
And he is pouring tranquilizer in that old-timey needle.
I think Les plays some music or something, or somebody turned on music. So one of the zombies is trying to dance. And,
Void is dancing.
But I guess Les has invited everybody over because Les was going to call the cops on Lionel. And Lionel said, you can have the money, you can have the house.
Right.
So Les calls all of his friends over to have a party immediately.
Yeah. And it's one of those gross 50s parties where everybody's like smoking and... But I didn't understand. He wanted Lionel to get all of the dead people out of the basement.
Yeah, he says get rid of them, but he doesn't
and then 30 minutes later, all these people show up, and he's like, you get rid of those bodies yet? No, that was like 30 minutes ago. And now all your weird friends are over here.
There's one guy on the couch that...
looks up that girl's dress.
It looks up her skirt.
That is a man, right? In the skirt. I rewound once. I will not rewind twice, but it very much looked like that was a male. And sorry if it wasn't.
It does. It looks like Mrs. Herdachek.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. One of Uncle Les's friends comes up and grabs a wiener, some kind of weird. I mean, this is New Zealand. Their snacks are different, but they have these tiny little like sausages. I can't believe I'm saying this during this movie, but I'm kind of hungry watching that. But,
oh no.
She says something like, do you have anything else that I can nibble on? While she's chewing on that sausage?
It said here that Uncle Les got kicked in the crotch no less than 4 times, I think.
Yep, I just watched Paquita do it once.
Uncle Les gets hit in the groin 5 separate times during the final act of the film.
Good. Somehow that makes me feel better.
Except when he's rubbing a bottle, a 40-ounce bottle against his crotch.
No. A 40?
So somehow Paquita's made it down into the basement and she starts seeing the horror of all the zombies. Lionel hits him in the head with a rake.
Well, no, he does like a reverse, steps on the rake and manages to.
Yeah, he steps on the rake, it hits him, and he uses that rake to smack the zombie in the head.
Yes.
Pulling him back and putting him in a vice and just leaving them there to dangle.
Oh, yeah. He puts like the handle for it in the vice. I like that. It looked really cool, too. I like the way Void looks. He's just got that like exposed rib cage with kind of guts pulling out.
Do they pull that rib cage out of him later?
Yes. I think they do that to one of the party goers. It's really awesome and really gross, but just completely pulls rib cage out, just like with steamy, like meat blood on it.
This is getting ready to get really, really, really gross.
Yeah.
As everybody becomes infected.
Yes.
Paquita talks him into injecting poison into Mom, and that's when we realize a little bit that it is not poison. What was it?
It's he's been using tranquilizer. This bottle says animal stimulant. Yes, which I always have a jug of that laying around. Yeah. I can't believe there's still a lot of this movie left, and all of it is gross.
Every last bit.
So he has made it back with another bottle of what he thinks is tranquilizer. He's shot everybody in the basement, all of the dead people in the basement, and buried them?
Yes, in the basement floor.
In the basement floor. So now he and Paquita have come back up to this giant party that is Uncle Les is still hosting with some really just gross people, is all I'm going to say, including Uncle Les. He throws Paquita up against a wall. I don't like this. And then throws Lionel back down into the basement where he realizes that he has shot them full of animal stimulant instead of animal tranquilizers.
The opposite.
The opposite of what? But, it happens.
In which they launch out of the graves, kind of like, Demonoid.
Yeah, Demonoid, very Evil Dead, almost kind of like Britney Spears dancers when they just kind of get launched out of the... I love even the baby explodes out of the grave at him while he is... And this is a thing that I'm kind of jealous of this. Every other part of the world plays football, aka soccer, We're not very good at it, but everybody else is. And that baby gets launched at him. If you slow it down, he actually boggles that baby in the air with his feet a couple of times. Yes. Like, it's just instinct to him when there is a small object flown at him. He has to play soccer with it.
Little known facts, in some of those foreign countries, when they run out of balls, they use babies.
Yeah, that is true.
I didn't know if you knew that.
Yeah, Venezuela is bad about that. But they're orphans, so.
That makes it okay.
Not a lot of blowback. So this begins the biggest unbroken just zombie madness so far in the movie. Actually, I don't think it slows down until the credits roll.
No. This is 30 minutes
of just insanity.
Yes, insanity, grossness. That's where they break through the cellar door and it lands on one of the party goers, and that's when your guy, the thug, crawls up and Yeah, Void grabs the guy's chest and pulls his rib cage out of his body.
I mean, when I think about that, type of effect, I think of Day of the Dead and the kind of wimpy guy that hits the elevator,
Mm-hmm.
They tear him in two.
Right.
This is grosser than that somehow.
Yes.
Like Tom Savini wishes he did this. It's so messy, I think is what the thing is that like, I feel like Tom Savini wants you to see every little, bit of detail. And this is just like, there is a guy with a paint roller of gunk that he is just ladling on every single possible. I mean, that rib cage just looked like it was bathed in, like if you'd puree a steak or something and just pour that over something.
I'm watching a guy being pulled. He was trying to escape through the dumbwaiter.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
In which his lower half is just stripped and it just has bones.
Yes.
But that's just right before one of the girls screams and Void puts his hand all the way through her mouth.
Yeah.
And starts grabbing at another.
Yes. I love that. I love the guy getting his face pulled completely off of his skull.
That is iconic.
And also, a lot of these I don't think were in the original version. I know for sure that the guy in the green vest getting his face pulled off.
Right.
I've never seen that effect until this viewing.
I've seen clips of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a lot of. Like I said, this is 20 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen this in a while, but I can guarantee that guy was not in the version that I saw. There's a party goer that is grabbing Lionel through the bathroom door. Mm-hmm. And Paquita can only find like these, like something you'd use to like snip your nose hair.
Shears.
Yes. Right. And she's slowly chopping through that guy's wrist. That was making me laugh. And then the hand picks his nose.
Yeah, the hand comes off and picks his nose. Again, more hand violence.
Yeah. And more Evil Dead stuff. Cut to the outside, and Uncle Les has a yard gnome and is using it as a weapon. And so that all scans. There's a pink flamingo out there, too. Also, the house, I don't know if this has always been like that or if maybe Lionel did it, but there's like concertina wire all along the tops of the, like the garden wall. Mm-hmm. That's really not explained, and I assume Lionel did that.
When Les goes into the shed, he's being chased by all these zombies. The zombie priest gets in the shed with him, and he takes this as a point to start bullying the zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets this zombie priest in a headlock and pulls his teeth with some
that's right.
freaking pliers. Yep. But he is bullying him.
Yeah.
He bullies one later when he puts him through the ringer on the wash tub.
Yeah.
And just
he's had enough.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how long it's going to take him to clean this house up? Is making me laugh a lot earlier when he is running in the blood and just can't get any traction.
Can't get any traction whatsoever.
They're getting slowly closer and closer. And then he just steps on body parts as like rocks in a stream,
Sometimes you got to do that.
Yep. Also, that looks very Evil Dead. I mean, just a pile of body parts, arms, legs, heads, just all kind of like still alive. And that is what I remember the most of just like reading Fangoria and seeing just that pan of like all of those body parts. Just like, I have to see this movie as soon as possible.
Void is attacking Lionel in the bathroom, and Lionel just kind of smacks him on the side of the tub till all of his innards just kind of fall out.
Yeah.
Throws him onto the toilet, closes the lid on him, but Void's insides, his entrails, come to life, and the intestines wrap around Lionel's feet. There's a sphincter that actually farts.
Oh, yeah, there is like, farting noises.
But he keeps finding this medallion too.
Yeah. Yeah, you really lose track of where that thing is. It's going to be, it's going to come back sooner or later.
When he got the medallion from Paquita's grandmother.
Yes.
Did she say what that was about?
She had a card that had a star on it, and that was somehow linked to their fate, but I don't know. God, there's so many cool freaking deaths. Like, I love it that Void has those completely black, shiny eyes now.
Yes.
That looks really cool. And also, couldn't tell if that is the same actor that is walking on his hands,
Mm-hmm.
Because, there are a couple of actors that can do that with no special effects, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Les comes out of that shed with the shears and cuts through the zombie's head and chops him off at the mouth.
Yeah, that's really gross. The guts moving by themselves and like kind of puppeteering like his spleen. I mean, any of those gags in like a normal movie, and you would expect like a couple of them, but he has done like 10 completely unique just dead gags so far. Yes. And there's still fucking way more movie to go.
Still 20 minutes to go. Yeah. Beyond the one zombie woman slammed into the light fixture, and she's just in the background with her face lit up.
Yes, that is awesome. The beginning of her little arc is that there's one black-haired girl that's kind of running around screaming, and she's the girl that's in the closet with Paquita.
Yes.
Who Paquita tries to stab her, and thank God she has a sack of potatoes guarding her.
With the same pinking shears.
Yeah, with the same little... Well, no, she's got a butcher knife now. I think she's found a better weapon. That baby is just, like, launched out of so many... Like, they would just catapult that little doll.
That was hilarious when the baby comes through and she kicks it.
Yes.
It hits the ironing board, ricochets back towards her. She smacks it in the head with a frying pan, which leaves an indentation of its face in the pan.
Yeah.
She throws it in the blender and tries to blend it, but has a moment of like consciousness where she's like, oh no, this is a baby. I can't kill it.
Ugliest baby in New Zealand.
Yeah. It vomits on her.
Yeah.
Somehow it gets, does she throw it outside and it hits fucking Les in the crotch?
Yep. I think it even goes like boring, like it has like a comic noise.
Insane.
I mean, with just a little bit of editing, this turns from a comedy into a complete fucking gross out. I mean, like,
yes,
it's doing all this stuff and being funny. It's just insane. Meanwhile, Lionel is like doing this investigation.
Yeah, he's in the attic.
Yeah, he's found a chest.
And pictures of his dad with another woman.
Yes, trying to stuff a sausage into her mouth.
He has this like 2-foot long sausage, 4-inch round sausage, trying to put it in her mouth.
Yeah, they're having a great time. Who's taking the pictures, by the way? I have no idea.
Yeah. But then from his flashbacks, we realize that Mom has drowned Dad and the lover.
And the lover is in the like steamer trunk.
Is that who's in the trunk? I didn't know if it was Dad or...
assumed. I just don't know.
And yet more entrail action of...
Yeah, Void's guts are following him. That is so insane. Someone has their hands in those like lungs and is like puppeteering them. It's wild. Lionel falls through the ceiling. His leg gets caught on electrical wire and it pulls Mandy, the girl that her head was lighting up. It like smashes her into the ceiling. So much shit is going on.
And then the zombies crash through and Les has 2 like butcher knives and just starts going to town.
Yeah, almost video game style. Like he speeds up a little bit.
And the freaking body pile that's left when he's done.
Yeah.
He lights a cigarette and there's just arms and legs and twitching fingers, and it's hilarious. But the one garden gnome that he shoved through the guy's neck So we've got garden gnome zombie.
Yeah.
Totally insane.
It is. I like it when he sees him too. He's like, all right, mate. All right, hold on.
And he's the one that he puts through the dryer, which is completely great. He's taunting it too. He's like, oh yeah, you want some of this? I gotcha.
He's
putting him through the ringer, and the guts and everything left that's inside the body starts pouring out the neck. But then the baby zombie has a severed leg and kicks him in the nuts with that severed leg.
Why were we not spared Uncle Les's nuts at some point coming to life and like chasing somebody? That's like the only thing that hasn't happened. Lionel, when he falls out of the ceiling, somehow explodes another guy's head. He like headbutts another guy, making his head explode. That was kind of weird to me.
This is total mass hysteria.
Yeah, chaos. Lionel is hanging by the electrical cord and crawling up the stairs. There's just so much shit going on. Buddy Holly, half of Buddy Holly's head is just creeping around.
They kick that thing around quite a lot.
Yeah. You think Paquita's going to get bitten, but it just turns out to be dentures, so she's still good. Another guy explodes.
And Les ends up down in the basement where he finds Mum.
Right.
Who is now this, what is she?
You know, she's the final boss, kind of. She's turned into this gigantic rat mum thing. The baby likes it. It's making the baby laugh.
That laugh is just hysterical.
You just have to assume that that's Peter Jackson's voice making that laugh like that.
Then finally, Lionel comes in to rescue the day with his trusty lawnmower.
Yeah. You saw him working on it earlier, and you're like, you know what? I hope that thing comes back.
And it does in beautiful, gory fashion as he just mows through all the zombies.
Yeah.
Nasty parts, blood, guts, slime.
And it is not, you know, it could be very cartoonish. I mean, like, just some editing and, like, music choices. And this is a straight up horror movie, you know?
Yes.
I mean, think about that for a second. Think about all those, like, Savini movies and, you know, Dario Argento movies, all the Italian movies. And I would still have to say this is probably, I mean, I guess you could argue now that like maybe Human Centipede or like some of the Saw movies or something.
Okay.
But I don't even think they come anywhere near. I would like to see the Joe Bob Briggs like scorecard on this.
There you go,
because I still think this has to be the grossest movie ever.
Here in the IMDb trivia for Dead Alive, this movie is said to be the bloodiest of all time, measured in the amount of film blood used during the production.
Yeah.
It says here 300 liters of fake blood were used in the final scene of the film.
And again, it's not just blood. I mean, if it was just blood,
right,
it wouldn't be so bad. This is blood and like pureed meat. I mean, there is a certain point where Lionel is holding that lawnmower and he has to, the actor himself has to wipe all of the stuff off of his face because he can't breathe or see.
Yeah. It says during the lawnmower scene, movie blood was pumped at 5 gallons per second.
Wow. Amazing. That is amazing.
It's just insane.
The Uncle Les monster, I swear I've never seen that before until this viewing.
But I love it that he's gone through and killed basically everybody.
Yes.
All the zombies with the mower except freaking
Void, half of top of Void.
Half of half.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just missing his midsection.
Yeah.
But he's still using his severed legs to get around.
Yeah. That's
Just,
oh my God. him sitting on the upside down lawnmower, and there's just how did anybody walk anywhere?
It's just the nasty.
I like Paquita has made that friend, kind of looks like a, just a normal hipster chick now, but the baby bursts through her face. Oh my God. I think Mondo, the company that does all those badass like posters and stuff, they have a poster for Dead Alive that's just that. It's just her face split open with the baby coming out. Really, really cool. Then Paquita sets the kitchen on fire.
Grabs the medallion from Void's still his guts that are mocking him.
I mean, yes.
I love it that he actually grabs the severed arm to re-pull the string on the lawnmower.
Yep. That's amazing. That's the type of filmmaking that you just don't see anymore.
So you got to imagine the budget that was on this film and the shit that they pulled off.
I mean, $3 million does seem like a lot less now,
Right.
I mean, this
especially seeing the mum monster.
Yeah.
The mumster. That is absolutely huge, absolutely gross.
Yeah.
Animatronic as well.
It's got a big butt. Big boobs. This is one man's vision. This is the movie he had to make. And
to think that Peter Jackson's wife helped him write this. She's been his writing partner since they got together.
That is a
match made in little person New Zealand heaven.
Yeah. Little people.
He's 5'4".
Yeah. God.
He is a hobbit.
He's like talking to you and you're like, what is that Peter? Where is he?
So the end battle on the roof of the house. Now we have the exposition of what happened to Dad.
Yeah, I love it that they're just tying up that
plot point.
I don't know. They're really having it out now that she's a giant monster.
Well, the flashback scene actually shows him watching Mum drown the woman in the bathtub.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
Mum calls Paquita a slut, bitch slaps her.
Oh, man. I love her. I love Paquita in this. She just was perfect.
They really did have a great cast for this. It was very well cast.
The final monster looks so much better than the thing in Leviathan at the very end. You remember that?
Yeah.
This thing looks 1,000 times better than that.
In true, horrific fashion, Mum opens up her abdomen and basically
swallows him.
Lionel slides into her stomach.
Everything on that big monster works. She's using her nails to kind of pry Paquita off of that little vent.
Mm-hmm.
And Lionel finally gets to use the necklace.
Which is a blade?
It does have kind of a knife on it. The waterfall of blood that comes out though is just, and you get one final indignity when you see Mum's butt when she goes head first through the hole. Gosh.
But Lionel crawls out of the entrails.
He's born again.
Yes. Grabs Paquita, slaps his belt over the freaking power line.
Yeah.
Kisses her, which is just as gross.
You see a flash of her panties.
They are both just covered in so much slime. I got to back it up. I didn't see the panties.
That's just a small,
Now, what's sad is the only nudity we get is from the beast mom.
Oh, big floppy boobs. It looks like something Terry Gilliam animated in Monty Python, but they brought it to life.
Totally disgusting.
Oh, and they do kiss again. They kissed in the house once, and when they pulled apart, there was a string of just gloop.
No, that's unnecessary.
Yep. Then they kiss again at the end. Like with tongue.
This is a complete love story.
It is. It's weird that Lionel has a hard-on after all of this, but still, who knows?
And maybe through half of the movie.
Wow. I mean, the credits are rolling. The old-timey firemen have shown up. Wow.
You had to pick the grossest film.
Well.
And I don't think we'll ever be able to top this.
No.
For grossness, this is the pinnacle.
I think so, too. Wow. Man, my wife is making chili tonight. I'll be having a small salad because chili is making me
it no longer sounds
gag right now. Well, we did it.
Sure. The film was released with a number of different versions. In some nations, such as the United Kingdom and Australia, the 104-minute film was shown in full. In fact, the UK's classification board on the British Board of Film Classification, the BBFC, found that the film's gory content so light-hearted and comical, there was consideration of giving the film a 15 certificate, which would have granted it to be seen by a much younger audience. But ultimately, they decided to give the film an 18 rating because the amount of gore confounded the expectations of a 15 rating.
It confounded me while I was watching it.
In countries the censors balked at the extreme gore, the film was initially banned or left unrated before being heavily cut. In Germany, there was a 94-minute version. So I wonder if that's what we were watching back in the day, too.
Yeah.
So that was a good 10 minutes of gore cut out of it.
This is the first time that I've seen this version of it.
I want to say the same here, too, because I was taken aback when we watched this last night.
Yeah.
I should have been taking a bath.
Taking a bath. Yeah, I could not believe, just so gross. Absolutely gross. And I loved every minute of it.
He had to have gotten some sort of inspiration from certain movies, like, again, Evil Dead. I'm telling you, even the hand violence with Demonoid, I think, is right there.
Yeah.
With the priest who was watching over the cemetery.
Yep.
Which is one of the best action scenes ever.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I for sure think that, I mean, like I said, I read on Wikipedia. Wikipedia's never wrong.
Right.
That Peter Jackson, there is a plan to eventually, release this and Bad Taste and some of his earlier movies remastered. So I just have to believe that's going to happen sometime soon. And hopefully we'll get like a commentary or something,
Yes.
Making of featurette.
That would be good.
That would be amazing. Oh my God, I can't imagine. Can't imagine. But yeah, we did it.
We did it. We covered the grossest film ever.
Yep, that we've ever seen.
I don't think you can top it.
No. I'm trying to think of like other movies that come even close, and it's just maybe a couple of scenes reach the violence level, but for a like hour and a half sustained blood gore fest, I just can't think of anything that even comes close.
No. And it will talk to our audience here.
Yeah.
And say, hey, go out and watch this film.
Please.
Get drunk. Do some microdosing, whatever you need to do to have yourself a good time to watch this film.
Whatever you have to do. And just love it.
Just love it.
Try to schedule it in between meals.
Yeah. This will be good to, to diet to. If you feel like
definitely
eating custard, watch this film.
I love that. Dead Alive custard diet. It's like a cleanse,
Yeah.
Where you just eat custard and then just throw it back up into a bowl and then eat that. Okay. I'm done, but
all right.
You get it. You get where I was going.
All right. Well, tell our audience where they can find us.
They can find us at themoratorium.com.
Bingo.
They can find us at Moratorium on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn.
You keep bringing up LinkedIn.
I'm
letting you take over all the LinkedIn stuff.
I'm still overhauling our MySpace page.
It takes so much time.
I'm pretty sure that's not even supported anymore.
Feel free to support us by buying some t-shirts.
Yep. You want that hoodie.
I really want that hoodie.
Think we're going to bring Podcat back? Remember Podcat?
Yes. I love Podcat.
Yeah.
And after seeing animal violence in this film, this should really
Got to do Reanimator.
make Podcat a
Ooh, you know what? Stuart Gordon movies. Those might be the closest to. Oh my god, it's insane to think that Reanimator is like a appetizer for Dead Alive. Can you imagine? I mean, for real. That's like the other grossest movie I can think of. Wow.
Somebody send us some other ideas for grosser movies than Braindead.
Please.
See what you got.
Love to hear from you guys. Please email us at themoratorium.com or at gmail.com.
Movie moratorium
at
gmail.com.
Man.
And also, hey, if you want to help support this podcast, we bring you top rated entertainment. I'm trying to say that with a straight face.
Trailed off at the end there.
You can support this podcast through our Patreon for as little as $1 a month.
Man, that seems like nothing.
Nothing.
Chump change.
We will continue to bring you this top tier. Let's just shut it down. All right.
I don't have the energy.
Just say click.
Okay, click. Did you hang up?
No, I just said click. All right, let's shut this bitch down.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Click.
Click.
Well, that was completely disgusting and downright freaking hilarious. Tune in next week when Jason and I add to the list of the most disgusting movies ever made in the yarn wall. If you have any movie suggestions, or just want to tell us how much we really suck, you can contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and long live VHS.
It's just one of those things where I've got a lot of weird images in my head, and what's a few more?